When you're just starting out to learn about brewing pour over coffee, you might definitely be scouring the internet for information. It will then lead you to watch all sorts of coffee videos on YouTube, join coffee Facebook groups, follow coffee nerds on Instagram, and then you will learn there are so many brewing devices, different gadgets, and technicalities. Oh shoot, this beverage is so complicated, I don't want to do this, you'll say. Man, I know this could be really challenging, but it is probably not how difficult you think it is. Hey everyone, how you brewing? My name is Leslie and today I wanted to talk to you guys because as you probably noticed, I haven't posted a video on my YouTube channel since February and that has been already 8 months and you might wonder perhaps she's going through some problems or something happened and truth is, yes, there's something happened. But not in a negative situation or should I say not really. If you have been subscribed since last year, you already have an idea of what that something is all about. Really, I started uploading about coffee since April 2020. Most of those videos or the edits alone seem rushed. Some voiceovers aren't clear. I also compared two different techniques which later on I asked myself why I have done that. I've released so many crazy videos over the past years and frankly, it's hard to tell how I feel about them. And if you remember the how to brew excelsa beans from which I mentioned that James Hoffman's technique didn't go well with the beans, I actually thought I should have cut that part because I knew his technique didn't make such a horrible cup, or maybe I was. And I'm gonna say this clear, at that time, I didn't know much about brewing pour over coffee. Then there were times I questioned myself, what am I trying to achieve really? Am I heading in a direction wherein I will just compare other people's technique and see how you guys think, then create another one and so on? Please don't get me wrong, as much as I appreciate all of your positive comments and amazing support, it just didn't feel right for me. What do I mean is, I didn't want you guys to think I am that kind of person. And so I took quite some time to rediscover my main objective, and that is to select which topic I believe you guys, my viewers, need to see from this channel. And as a one-man team, I hope my videos will inspire you and worth watching to you. Again, I don't want to look perfect here because I think no one is. And that being said, yeah, I think I've learned my lessons. So, what's taking up all of my time over the past months, you ask? Well, that is a pretty good question. As I already told you from the intro, brewing pour over coffee can be very intimidating and overwhelming. But I really hope you are as interested and motivated as I am, because if you are like me who loves to drink coffee and gets excited to make coffee every morning, it is definitely worth a try to have this as a hobby. It is true that manual brewing is not the quickest way to make coffee, and I like it that way because it's kind of very meditative and relaxing. Just the whole process itself. No pressure, no rush, and there's no other rewarding than drinking a cup of coffee that's complex, clean, and whatever flavor description that's written in the bag. But of course, manual brewing comes with a couple of challenges. So just recently, I created a list. These are tips which I believe every newbie or beginner needs to know before jumping down into this rabbit hole of pour over coffee brewing. It's funny, I never thought I'd be sharing this with you, but because I felt this might be a good guide and I haven't seen much beginner tips videos, so yeah, think I have to. Alright, grab a cup of coffee and let's get this thing started. Let me interrupt you for a minute. I will say this is not something that comes from a coffee nerd or an expert. Believe it or not, I consider myself as stubborn newbie. So basically, all of these tips are purely based off from my experiences and some are just my opinions. Everyone's experience is always going to be totally unlike. Hope that's clear. Alright, back on the video. Tip number 1, choose a bag of coffee that you like and familiar with. I know this sounds silly and you might roll your eyes, but in my opinion, this is an important part of every coffee brewing experience. I mean, when you buy a coffee from a local nearby coffee shop and assuming you had this very amazing experience and made you want more of it, say for example, you let the barista brew one of the best sellers and you actually loved it, you'll then start asking the person in charge which coffee from their selections did he or she use. You'll get to know which brewing method, brewing ratio, grind size, brewing temperature, and that is pretty much the beginning. Okay, tip number 2. Know that coffee tastes different from another. So let's say you already know how the barista brewed the coffee that you like and decided to get one bag of that, and you learn what devices were used, what water, pouring techniques, just to mention a few. You will then start to own the process of brewing, which means you'll begin to understand that the ones that's been brewed for you at the coffee shop won't taste exactly the same with your very first brew. This is maybe because the beans needs more time to rest, and maybe there's a need to adjust the brewing parameters in order to get a similar tasting cup. Right, tip number 3, over-extracted versus under-extracted. So this already is a bit technical and I don't want to go deeper to that, but let's say your first brew tasted slightly different from the one you had at the coffee shop. First thing you need to identify is which one of the two you've ended up with. If it's too bitter or over-extracted, then maybe grind a bit coarser, but keep the other parameters the same. If it tastes sour or under-extracted, then grind finer, but again, keep the given variables constant. Always remember, change one variable at a time. Tip number 4. Try different pouring techniques. You know, it's fun to make experiments, especially when you're just starting new things, right? And for me, finding what's convenient and replicable technique is one of the most exciting part of brewing. And so I think it is also important to know and consider some other techniques and learn how to play around with the given variables. Connected to this tip is this tip number 5. Taste is king. So when you now know which technique suits your palate, you will then try some other coffees, whether from the same store or from another. I think it's wise to ask for recipe recommendations, especially when buying a book of coffee you are not very familiar with. And with that, you will have a baseline and a choice or freedom to follow your taste. Tip number 6. Concentrate on one brewing device. While this is definitely one of the most difficult tips to practice, knowing there are so many different brewing devices available in the market, I mean, each device gives different result, and if budget is not a problem, then maybe you go grab one or more, but just make sure you utilize all of them and not just for display. I mean, last and not the least, tip number 7. Coffee is 99% water. Let's say your brewed coffee still doesn't taste good even though you've done enough adjustments. That, my friend, is maybe because of the water you're using. Some coffee people use filtered water, bottled mineral water, third wave water, etc. Yeah, I think it's time for you to find your best option. So there you have it, you guys. I hope I helped you in a way or two, but if you have comments or questions, write them down below and we'll try to figure it out. But before I end this video, I wanted to ask you guys which one of the tips I've mentioned is worth noting, or have I missed something? Also, it would be a great support for this channel if you do subscribe and like this video. Again, as always, thank you so much for watching and hope to see you on the next one. Anyone following along, thanks a lot for staying. Actually, I got a bonus tip for you. Okay, forget everything I said and just remember this one key tip or advice. Moreover, coffee doesn't have to be complicated. As long as you understand that manual brewing can sometimes give you an awful cup and sometimes a great tasting cup. With enough time, practice, and patience, you'll then get used to it. So go ahead, start and explore the wonderful world of specialty coffee, prepare a decent brew, and don't forget to enjoy and have fun. Cheers!